Tuesday, when the museum is nearly empty, the way it should always be, with room to breathe in front of every painting, room to see the quiet feeling, room to take the time that every piece of art deserves, the rhyme between the viewer and the view, the space, a genuine encounter face to face with someone's years of looking distilled into a single canvas, pigment filled with all the observation and the thought, the skill, the practice, everything they brought to this one surface that now hangs in light, specifically angled to be right for how the eye receives it, how the blue in this particular painting asks of you. Museum afternoon on a Tuesday, nearly empty, nearly mine, the hallways breathing with the weight of what they hold, every painting somebody's years ago. Museum afternoon, slow and still, standing in front of something until I feel the thing the artist felt that day. The museum gives that back on a Tuesday. The guard in this room has a paperback tucked under the chair beside his back. He reads it in the gaps between the spots. Visitors wish today are few, the odds being better on a weekday anyway, when school groups haven't come to fill the way with their own loud, beautiful chaos. I've come alone, which is how I always prefer the museum, how I prefer most things that matter, with the quiet blur of concentration possible alone in front of a painting that has grown more complex every minute that I stand before it, noticing the artist's hand in places I had missed, the choice of light, the way the shadow falls exactly right. Museum afternoon on a Tuesday, nearly empty, nearly mine, the hallways breathing with the weight of what they hold, every painting somebody's years of gold. Museum afternoon, slow and still, standing in front of something until I feel the thing the artist felt that day. The museum gives that back on a Tuesday. There's a still life in the corner room, 3 lemons and a cloth inside the gloom of someone's 17th century kitchen, a painting that has no ambition except to say, these lemons, this cloth, this light were here one afternoon and it was right to stop and paint them, which is everything to say that ordinary things can sing. Closing time, the guard retrieves his book and gives the room one last official look. He smiles at me, still standing by the wall of something I've been looking at since fall of afternoon. Some hours in the haze of looking and receiving, and the days that led me here, the whole accumulation of a life arriving at this station in front of this particular painting. Now that I don't fully understand, but how understanding works in art is less about the meaning and more about the press of feeling something real inside the chest, the pain and working through you like the best music does, not telling but becoming part of what you carry, always coming back in odd moments. On a Tuesday here, museum afternoon on a Tuesday, nearly empty, nearly mine, the hallways breathing with the weight of what they hold, every painting somebody's years of gold. Museum afternoon, slow and still, standing in front of something until I feel the thing the artist felt that day. The museum gives that back on a Tuesday. Yeah. Last look before they close. Remember this one. Come back next Tuesday. I skipped the coffee this particular morning and reached for something softer without warning. The lemon and the honey in the cup, a gentle kind of waking slowly up. Not jolted into consciousness today, but eased into it, finding my own way. Through the quiet kitchen, through the steam that rises from the mug into a dream of something formless, something warm the day not yet demanded anything. The gray and yellow morning light across the floor. The cat is asking for her breakfast more insistently now. Figure eights between my ankles, making sure that I have seen her food bowl empty since the dawn. She's been awake since 4. She's been on lemon tea morning, soft and slow. Nowhere I have to be yet, nowhere to go. The steam is rising in the morning air. The only urgent thing is being there. Lemon tea morning, yellow cup, taking all the time it takes to wake up. Not every morning needs to start in speed. Sometimes lemon tea is all you need. I pour the cat her breakfast, she approves by diving in immediately. The grooves of her small ritual, her focused grace, the total presence in that eating space. I watch her and I think about the art of singular attention. How the heart learns something from a cat at breakfast time, about the simple dignity of I'm right here, right now. This bowl, this meal, this yes, complete commitment, no more and no less. I take my mug and find a window seat. The morning paper folded incomplete. Read from yesterday, the headlines still the same trajectory, downhill and uphill. Human things in human ways. I fold it back and spend the morning gaze outside instead. Lemon tea morning, soft and slow. Nowhere I have to be yet, nowhere to go. The steam is rising in the morning air. The only urgent thing is being there. Lemon tea morning, yellow cup, taking all the time it takes to wake up. Not every morning needs to start in speed. Sometimes lemon tea is all you need. There's a version of the morning I've been chasing for years, through coffee cups and alarm clock racing, that looks exactly like this lemon steam and morning light, and nothing like a dream, but better, realer, simpler, more at hand. A morning that I finally understand doesn't need achievement to be worth the living of. Just this, just here, just earth. My second cup is steeping by the stove. I moved the cat's toy from the entrance cove and sat back down with something I've been reading, a novel that has been slowly feeding me its story over several weeks. I read a chapter, find the things it seeks to tell me about loneliness and grace, about the way that people find their place, not all at once but gradually. The way that morning comes, not sudden but through gray and yellow and then gold, and then the full white light of a day complete the pull of life, arriving not by force but drift. The lemon tea, the cat, the morning gift of nothing scheduled, nothing due, just here, the clearest version of a year. Lemon tea morning, soft and slow. Nowhere I have to be yet, nowhere to go. The steam is rising in the morning air. The only urgent thing is being there. Lemon tea morning, yellow cup, taking all the time it takes to wake up. Not every morning needs to start in speed. Sometimes lemon tea is all you need. One more cup. The morning is still early. Stay a little longer in the quiet. I left the phone in the drawer today. The first drawer, the one that's hard to get to, the way I can't easily reach without intention. A decision that requires a mention of effort. Not the bedside table reach, but the drawer across the room, how to teach. Of the automatic hand that goes there first in the morning for the feed, the thirst. For everything that happened in the night while I was sleeping, all the weight and light of other people's news and other lives. I left it in the drawer, the phone survives without my attention for one day. I wondered if I would, going in, survive okay. Analog hours, paper in hand, writing things down the way I understand them differently. When the pen meets the page, when there's no delete key, no edit stage. Analog hours, clock on the wall, the only notification, the hours call. No buzzing, no blue light, no pull. Analog hours, quiet and full. I wrote 3 letters that I'll actually send, handwritten on the good paper. The end of the roll I've been saving for the right occasion, which today felt like the right occasion for a letter to my friend who moved to somewhere warmer, to the end of a continent I haven't seen, who sends me postcards from where she has been. I owe her a proper letter, not a text of thumb-type words, but something with the next line starting fresh, with crossing out in choice of words that cost something. That voice, the thought completely, that can't be unsent with the comfort of the delete. What's meant by the handwritten word is permanent, which is the point. Analog hours, paper in hand, writing things down the way I understand them differently. When the pen meets the page, when there's no delete key, no edit stage. Analog hours, clock on the wall, the only notification, the hours call. No buzzing, no blue light, no pull. Analog hours, quiet and full. By noon I notice that I haven't checked the time the way I usually expect myself to every 15 minutes, caught in the loop of checking, but without that thought. The hours move differently, they pool into longer stretches, generous, cool. The morning lasted like a morning should. I lived more of it than I usually could. I cooked a full meal from a recipe book, an actual physical book that I took from the shelf and propped open with the salt. The recipe in someone's handwriting, the fault. Lines of old use, the splatter and the stain of decades of the cook in this domain of the page has witnessed. I followed it exactly, which is different. Which is it? The analog way, the trusting of the text without the option to immediately check a variation or a substitution, just the recipe and its own solution. The meal took longer and tasted more earned, which might be the lesson that today I've learned about the analog. It costs you time and gives you back the feeling that it's mine. Analog hours, paper in hand, writing things down the way I understand them differently. When the pen meets the page, when there's no delete key, no edit stage. Analog hours, clock on the wall, the only notification, the hours call. No buzzing, no blue light, no pull. Analog hours, quiet and full. The drawer stays closed till morning. The letters are ready to send. Analog is a choice, a good one. There's a smell in the air that comes before the rain, the petrichor of what will be the plain announcement that the sky is about to change. From this particular blue to something strange and gray and full of what it's been collecting from the ocean and the clouds, directing everything toward this city, toward this street, toward this window where I'll store myself this afternoon to watch it come, to see the sky beside the approaching drum of distant thunder barely audible. The birds have gone quiet, the impossible stillness that descends before it breaks, the whole world holding its breath, the intake of air before the song, the measures rest. The before rain is the rain's request. Before the rain starts, everything waits. The sky draws back and the air hesitates. This particular stillness with the smell of what's coming, something I can't tell you the chemistry of, only the feel. Before the rain starts, everything is real and ready and suspended in between the before and the rain, the unforeseen made inevitable. The cat knows before I do. She sit up high on the bookshelf in the fiddle position of someone watching weather come. Her ears rotated slightly toward the drum of thunder, tracking it the way her kind has tracked the weather in the ancient mind of cats for longer than the city's been here to frame the sky between its clean and architectural lines. She knows the rain in ways I'm learning to know the refrain of her positioning, a certain shelf she always takes before the storm herself, a weather instrument of fur and bone, more accurate than anything I've known in the meteorological line. Her forecast beats the apps every time. Before the rain starts, everything waits. The sky draws back and the air hesitates. This particular stillness with the smell of what's coming, something I can't tell you the chemistry of, only the feel. Before the rain starts, everything is real and ready and suspended in between the before and the rain, the unforeseen made inevitable. Single second before the first drop falls is worth 100 afternoons in halls of ordinary weather, ordinary days. This moment has a quality that stays long after the rain is come and gone. The before rain lives in you and then lives on as the memory of anticipation of beautiful and incoming sensation. The first drop hits the window pane, the one I've been waiting for. The overture begun, then 2, then 5, then suddenly the full percussion of it. Gravity's pull on all that gathered water through the cloud. The rain arriving generous and loud after the silence of the before. The now of rain completely different somehow. Both what I expected and more than I remembered from the last time. The span between rains always makes me forget the actual sound and smelling wet completely. So each rain is the first rain, each before rain, the first before again. I watch the cat come down and find her place beside the radiator. Rain flakes concluded, the event begun. The before was beautiful, the rain has come. Before the rain starts, everything waits for sky cars back and the air hesitates. This particular stillness with the smell of what's coming, something I can't tell you the chemistry of, only the corner bench on weekend afternoon. A regular transaction between me and the views. This particular park provides, which is to say, the full variety of human Saturday. The joggers and the dog walkers, the man who brings his radio and plays it can be heard 3 benches over. Nothing offensive, mostly old soul music, comprehensive coverage of a decade I wasn't in. But love completely let the music in. Through the trees and over the path between us, him on his bench, me on mine, the green of the park connecting us in the web of Saturday afternoon. The ebb and flow of people through the space we share, without agenda, everyone just there. Corner bench, I've been here since 2, watching the park do what parks always do. Hold the city's need for open air, for somewhere to be with the somewhere nowhere care. Corner bench, the afternoon parade of everyone who needed to be swayed into the park today by sun or need. A corner bench is where I plant my seed of nothing and let it grow. A couple has an argument and then resolves it in the time it takes. The zen of parquet to work on them I watch from a respectful distance. I don't botch anyone's privacy by staring long, just the peripheral awareness, the song of human drama that the park contains. Like a patient vessel, all the pains and joys and ordinary complications getting aired out in these open stations of green and bench and path and sky, where you can say the thing and let it fly into the neutral air of Saturday. The park receiving everything you say without judgment, which is what parks do. The corner bench has heard it all too. Corner bench, I've been here since 2, watching the park do what parks always do. Hold the city's need for open air, for somewhere to be with a somewhere nowhere care. Corner bench, the afternoon parade of everyone who needed to be swayed into the park today by sun or need. Corner bench is where I plant my seed of nothing and let it grow. The best part of the corner bench is this: nobody's asking anything. The bliss of being present without a role to play. Just a person on a bench on a Saturday, watching other people being alive, feeling the collective human drive to get outside, to breathe, to not be indoors. The park is made of everyone it stores. By 4 the light is turned and shadows stretch long and blue across the path, pitch of trees, shadows on the grass. The day declining in the beautiful halfway state of late afternoon and early fall. The park adjusting to the coming call of evening. The families gathering, the joggers finishing their final ring. The soul music man packs up his radio with the same deliberateness, the slow, careful winding of the cord. The case snapping shut, he nods at me and takes his bench and all his afternoon and goes somewhere I'll never know. The park day closes and I stay until the park lights come on. One more corner bench, one more afternoon gone, and given back to me as memory. Corner bench, I've been here since 2, watching the park do what parks always do. Hold the city's need for open air, for somewhere to be with a somewhere nowhere care. Corner bench, the afternoon parade of everyone who needed to be swayed into the park today by sun or need. Corner bench is where I plant my seed of nothing and let it grow. The park lights on. to the harbor before 5, while the city slept when I was most alive. With the pre-dawn and the particular blue that exists only in that hour, true blue, not black, not yet the gray of dawn. A blue that is its own thing, fully drawn across the sky above the harbor lights. The still water holding the last of nights, reflections in its surface, yellow, orange, the dark lights making columns in the strange mirror of the harbor. I could look at harbor water for the whole duration of a morning and find my own salvation in the way it moves, the way it holds the light and lets it go as the day unfolds. Harbor at dawn, before the boats go out, before the engines start and the workers shout. The last of the blue hour hanging still on the water in the dock and the hill. Harbor at dawn, the quietest place I found inside the city's face before the world remembers what it is. The harbor at dawn belongs to this. The fisherman is loading gear into his boat with the efficiency of one who has done this 10,000 times before. Each movement certain, purposeful, no more, no less than what the task requires. Each coiled rope and box and cooler out of reach of the dock and into the boat's hold. We the grace that comes from doing and being told by the body, not the mind, the knowledge stored in muscle and in habit and in scored years of early mornings of this blue, replacing black above the harbor's view. He doesn't notice me or doesn't care that I'm here watching from my bench. The air between us is the harbor's morning gift of privacy within the shared blue shields. Harbor at dawn, before the boats go out, before the engines start and the workers shout. The last of the blue hour hanging still on the water and the dock Emma Hill. Harbor at dawn, the quietest place I found inside the city's face before the world remembers what it is. The harbor at dawn belongs to Liz. Knows 100,000 dawns before this one, before these harbor lawns were built, before the docks were here at all, before the city heard its morning call. The water was already moving this way in this particular pre-dawn blue of day, patient and indifferent and complete. The harbor at dawn is the city's heartbeat. By 6 the light has shifted into gold, the blue hour gone, the way all blues are told to go, replaced by something warm or real. The daytime version of the harbor's feel. The engines start now, one by one they wake. The fisherman I watched has gone to take his boat out past the harbor mouth to see a small shape shrinking, moving away from me into the open water, into the vast, while I stay here and watch until the last trace of him is gone beyond the break. Then I stand up and feel the morning make its final claim on everything around. The harbor fully woken into sound. I walk back to the city with the blue still in my chest, that pre-dawn harbor view. Harbor at dawn, before the boats go out, before the engines start and the workers shout. The last of the blue hour hanging still on the water and the dock in the hill. Harbor at dawn, the quietest place I found inside the city's face before the world remembers what it is. The harbor at dawn belongs to live. blue hours over, but I was here for it. Come back before 5. Down to the harbor before 5. I came down to the harbor. I came down to the harbor. I came down. I came down to the harbor before 5. I came down to the harbor. I came down. Before 5, I came down to the harbor. 5, I came down to the harbor before. I came down to the harbor. I came down to the harbor before. Came down to the harbor before 5. It's past 11 and I'm boiling water for noodles, which is not what I thought I'd order when the day began. So full of plans for something better, something with more hands in the making, something involving effort, but it's late and I am, let me be direct, tired in the particular way that comes from a day of small negotiations, sums of interactions, choices, things to say, and things I didn't say that filled the way between the morning and this kitchen now, where the simplest meal is somehow how the day achieves its perfect punctuation. A bowl of noodles, quiet, no explanation required for why I'm eating alone at 11:30 in my own home. Late night noodles, steam in the stove. The city's going quiet in its usual groove. Just me in the kitchen and the simple truth that some nights a bowl of noodles is the proof that you survived the day, that you are here. Late night noodles, the atmosphere of midnight and a meal and being fine. Just a person at 11:39. I had too much chili like I always do, and regret it in the way I always do for about 30 seconds. Then I don't, because the heat is part of the point. I won't pretend that comfort food should be polite. It should be exactly what you need tonight, which is heat and salt and something satisfying about the simplicity of not trying to impress anyone, including yourself. Just eating from the pot instead of shelf display. No plating, no consideration, just the meal in its natural station. A spoon, a pot, the kitchen counter there, the window where the streetlight fills the air with orange glow. A cat outside the glass watching me eat with judgment, then it passed. Late noodles, steam in the stove. The city's going quiet in its usual groove. Just me and the kitchen and the simple truth that some nights a bowl of noodles is the proof that you survived the day, that you are here. Late night noodles, the atmosphere of midnight and a meal and being fine. Just a person at 11:39. My grandmother made soup at midnight too. I remember waking to the smell come through the hallway of her house, the dark and warm. The kitchen storm window, adding something stirring slow. She said some days you just need this, you know, a simple thing, a warm thing, something made with hands against the dark, against the afraid. I watch the pot before I go to bed, which is the kind of thing that fills my head with quiet satisfaction, the small acts of care for future me, the tiny facts of living that compound into a life, the clean pot and the folded cloth, the knife rinsed and dried and back where knives belong, the kitchen reset for tomorrow's song of morning coffee and a starting fresh, the cycle of the daily, the refresh that comes from soup at midnight, clean pot after the particular uncomplicated laughter of being satisfied by something small, of finding the sufficient in it all. Not everything, just noodles, just the stove, just me and the late night city's grove, a quiet and a bowl and being here. Late night noodles, steaming the stove, the city's going quiet in its usual groove, just me and the kitchen and the simple truth that some nights a bowl of noodles is the proof that you survived